and the New York Yankees, who are battling to overtake the Cleveland Indians for the league leadership. The Yankees, in losing yesterday, gained nothing but lost nothing as the Indians were defeated by the Chicago White Sox. Well, the Indians maintained their lead. Of course, the Los Angeles Angels picked up a bit of ground. They're just percentage points back of the Yankees, and they're both just a half game out of first place. So this is an important doubleheader for both ball clubs. And the respective managers, Bill Rigney and Ralph Houk, have just come to home plate with their lineups and the pregame discussion. Ralph Terry will pitch the first game for the Yankees, and Don Allen, will pitch for the Los Angeles Angels. Don Lee, I beg your pardon. Thornton Lee's son. Don Allen, I believe, runs a Chevrolet dealer in the New York area. Well, there's a free plug for Don that was not meant necessarily. Elsewhere in baseball today, Kansas City plays up at Boston. Detroit is at Baltimore. The Tigers and Orioles split a doubleheader last night. Minnesota plays at Washington, and the Senators have been very difficult for Sam Mealy's club. They won last night 1-0. And Cleveland plays Chicago, and the Indians are certainly having their troubles as they dropped the first two games to the White Sox. Yesterday, Early Wynn won his 296th Major League victory, shutting out the Cleveland Indians. Not bad for a man 42 years old. Makes us old-timers feel a little bit younger when we can see Early Wynn go out and still pitch a shutout. In the National League, the New York Mets, who were no-hitted last night by Sandy Koufax, meet the Angels in a single game. Philadelphia at San Francisco, Pittsburgh at St. Louis, Cincinnati at Houston, and Chicago at Milwaukee rounds out the full day of baseball in the major leagues today. Crowd today that probably will get up into the middle 30s, possibly with some latecomers, might get up close to 40. The Yankees take the field with Boyer going to third, Fresh to short, Richardson to second, Joe Pepitone at first base, Hector Lopez in left field, in center, Roger Maris, and in right, Johnny Blanchard. Behind the plate, Yogi Berra, and doing the pitching, Ralph Terry. Now our national anthem. For Ralph Terry to move out onto the pitcher's mound, take his preliminary tosses. It would seem this might be a good day for the left-handed hitters with a mild gale blowing out towards right field. The flag and the 1961 World Championship pennant are really flying at right angles. Rizzuto and Red Barber will be taking over shortly. Red to handle the play-by-play. We'll hear, of course, from Red and Mel Allen as well today. Albie Pearson, the pint-sized outfielder with the Angels, watching very carefully as Ralph Terry takes his warm-up pitches before pitch number one of this long doubleheader that stands in front of us. Bo Belinsky was scheduled to work today, but injured himself last night when he pulled a muscle in his hotel room. So Bill Rigney will to make a little change in his pitching plans today. And we're looking forward to seeing the colorful Belinsky work today. We'll have to wait for another Angel visit. All right, we're set for action now. As Yogi Berra makes his toss down to second base, let's move over now and pick up the old redhead, Red Barber.
Terry, who has won 9, lost 7, makes his first pitch a call strike. Slow curve, which he got over above the knees. And the ball game is on its way. That's the first pitch of it. Al Salerno is the ball and strike umpire behind the plate. Stevens is at first, Cadillac at second, and Stewart is at third. Slow curve swung on and popped up. Shortstop first, backpedaling 1-2 steps on the left field grass for the catch and the out. 1 up, 1 away. Now we have Billy Moran. He and Leon Wagner were selected by their fellow players in the league, starting positions on the American League All-Star squad. From the Yankees, Maris and Mantle was selected. Billy Moran, right-hand hitter, swings and lines the ball safely in the center field. Base hit. He didn't waste any time on that. Hit the first pitch. Line single. He is having a tremendous season. Moran went up there hitting at 297, so this puts him right back at 300. Pearson's up at 284. Now we have Leon Wagner hitting at 295. You folks all heard that Sandy Koufax pitched a no-hit ball game last night out at Los Angeles against the Mets. Pearson takes an outside curve. Wagner takes an outside curve, and there's ball 1. Left-hand hitter. Outfield plays into pull. Terry delivers, and he's swinging, hits the foul ball back out of play. Rocky Bridges is the third base coach for the Angels. The surprising ball club. They got themselves right on the thick of it. They're in a virtual tie with the Yankees. Each is a half a game back of the first place Indians. That's being right up there. Throw to first, nothing doing. Capitone returns. Change of pace is swung on and foul back. 1-2. This fellow leads the league in home runs at 21. Having a big season, has batted in 58. Doubleheader today. Kansas City at the stadium tomorrow night. Tuesday afternoon, and the doubleheader on Wednesday the 4th. Remember, the Wednesday doubleheader starts at 1:30. There's a foul back on a slider in on his hand. 1-2. It seemed that Wagner was first going to take the pitch and then realized it was too close to take. And he sort of flicked at it at the last split second. Ralph Terry going for his 10th win. The Yankees have won 4 of the 6 games between these two clubs this year. Wagner swings, hits the ball straight out to Maris, where he's played in right center. There's the catch for out number 2. And the batter is Bob Rogers, fine young catcher, hitting 277. He is a switch hitter, and he comes up to hit left-handed against right-handed Terry. We asked him down in the dugout, which way was he born? And he said he was born to hit right-handed. Or he learned to hit left-handed. In fact, that's almost an extraneous question. Pitch is high outside. Ball one. Ball players feel they've got it made if they naturally bat left-handed. So you don't have left-handed fellas anxious to be switch hitters. It's the fellow who is hitting right-handed that will sometimes turn around if he has the ability to do it. All right, no score. 2 down, runner at first base. Sunny breeze swept afternoon. Fastball is inside and low. Ball 2. Al Solano, new umpire in the league. Back of the plate. All right, 2-0. Pitch swung on as a line drive hit face into center field. Base hit. The runner from first, Moran, holds up at second base. He was not starting with a pitch, so we have men at first and second. Rogers lines a single into center. Hit number 2. Now we have Lee Thomas in the stocking of this club. 2 winters back, he came off the Yankee list, selected by the Angels. Thomas hitting .271. Him to pull into right. Stroking the bat slightly. Curve is wide. Ball 1. This breeze is holding up. It may be even picking up a little bit. We'll get the official word on it in a few minutes. Blue and white. Thomas swings as a ground ball hit the second baseman Richardson, who is up with it over to Pepitone at first. He almost threw the ball away. Pepitone had to stretch toward the mound to bring it in, which he did. No runs and 2 hits. With Richardson almost throwing that ball away, I would say that maybe he might have been pivoting on that sprained ankle of his. And might have done it because he has a very accurate arm. Now, score at the end of half an inning. Los Angeles nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat.
This is Frank Lovejoy. Flying is one of my hobbies, and in between pictures and stage engagements, I managed to get in quite a lot of flying time. And, of course, as a flyer, I've come to know and respect engines. That's why I was so impressed when I saw one of the Atlantic Imperial test cars. It had 2 transparent carburetors and 2 separate fuel systems. I could look right into the throttle plate area and see what was going on. One of the carburetors was operated on a variety of gasolines, and I was amazed to see how dirty it was around the throttle blade. But not the carburetor that used Atlantic Imperial. The throttle plate area on that carburetor was still clear and clean, and to me, it was pretty dramatic proof that Atlantic Imperial cleans your carburetor and keeps it clean. One of these test cars may be where you can see it soon, and I hope you will. But in the meantime, make the 7-week switch to Atlantic Imperial. I know you'll like the performance you get from your car with Atlantic Imperial.
John Lee on the mound has won overall with Minnesota and his new ball club 6 and lost 4. However, with the Angels, he is 3-1, and he has not allowed an earned run in the last 16 innings. He'll be pitching first off to Stretch, Richardson, and Merritt. They feel that they should not try and play Mantle in both games of a doubleheader. If you're wondering about the fact he's not in the batting order for this first game, because they got him there to pinch hit if they need him. And Stretch hits the first pitch a high pop fly that the shortstop is under. There's Toppy making the catch. And very quickly, one up and one away. Stretch went up at 260. Now we have Richardson coming up at 294, and he's hit safely in his last 11 ball games. Bobby's been just climbing right on up and up. Going quite a surge. First pitch, low inside, ball 1. bunt, and the ball hits him in foul ground. So it's a strike. He's running for a base hit. And he ran into the ball before he got out of batter's box, which is regarded as foul ground. Bobby, in the last 21 games, has hit a 360 clip. When he started this, he was hitting at 265. This is what we mean. We say he's climbing right on up. 294. We have no score. 1 out left in the first inning. Lee, very tall right-handed, delivers, and Richardson hits the fly ball straight out into left field, and there is the catch of it for out number 2 by Earl Averill Jr. For the Angels, we have Lee pitching, Rogers catching, Thomas is at first base. This is Maris. Evoking a noisy entrance as he steps up. Second base is Billy Moran, and the shortstop is Joe Coppy, and all three of those infielders are between first and second on this drastic overshift of Maris. The third baseman is Felix Torres. Aside from Averill in left field, we have Albert Pearson in center, and Leon Wagner in right. Maris takes the curveball low inside, ball 1. 1-0. The wind is now blowing at a steady 15 miles an hour. More than a breeze. A change of pace curve swung on and missed in under the hand. 1-1. Lee wasting little time, delivers, and Maris hits a high fly ball out to deep right field. Wagner is back almost against the stand, makes the catch, and the side goes down in order, 1, 2, 3. Totals at the end of the first inning out here in the first game. For the Angels, no runs, 2 hits and no errors, and for the Yankees, no runs, no hits and no errors. Well, Sunday's always a big day in baseball. Let's see what we've got. Single game, Kansas City at Boston, and Wilson will be the starting pitcher for Boston. This is his first time out since he pitched his no-hitter, which was against the Angels and against Valencia. Detroit failed to score. Its first at-bat was a single game at Baltimore. Bunning against Roberts. Minnesota is at Washington, and the Twins are starting Pasquale. Cleveland playing a doubleheader at Chicago. In the National League, New York is playing a single at Los Angeles. Philadelphia is playing a single at San Francisco. In fact, they're all singles in the National League. Pittsburgh at St. Louis, Cincinnati at Houston, and Chicago at Milwaukee. In the second inning, it will be Averill, and then Torres, followed by Coppy. Ralph Terry, tall, slender right-hander. His undershirt, I happened to be in the clubhouse checking something with manager House earlier in the day. He was sitting in front of his locker waiting. His undershirt is just full of holes. It's a piece of a rag. And I said to him, well, I don't have to ask you. This must be your lucky shirt. Well, you know, you get in the idea that something is good luck. And so apparently he's going to wear that one, boy, and it just simply blows away. Fitz Averill in there for the strike. We were talking with Billy Rigney in the Los Angeles dugout, and we said to him, is there any reason why you wear a wristwatch? You don't see a wristwatch down on the playing field of fellas in uniform. Not this stage of the game. That's a close curve from strike 2. He said, no, there's no particular reason except, I don't know, somehow or other I started to wear it the first of the year and things started going well. He said, now I'm scared to take it off. No balls, 2 strikes. A slow curve swung on and missed. He took him out using slow breaking stuff primarily. Now we have Felix Torres. Averill hitting .244. Torres hitting .259. We have no score out here in the first game. We got a lot of people here today to see this interesting doubleheader. There's a curveball in there for a strike. And there are good seats available for all of the games in this upcoming series with Kansas City. That's tomorrow night, Tuesday afternoon, doubleheader Wednesday. Full curve swung on, fouled off. And Ralph is continuing to use slow breaking stuff here this inning. 0-2. He's got a smart old head back of the plate calling these pitches, Mr. Barra. Up to well around toward left. There's the fastball. Called strike 3. He sure had him set up for it. Well, we've been commenting upon all this slow breaking stuff, and suddenly they ripped the fast one right in. And Torres wasn't set for it. So he struck out the first two hitters. And now we have shortstop Joe Coffey. He's hitting .236. There have been a lot of stories told about Berra, humorous stories. And I think in the telling of those stories, while it has heightened to the likability of Yogi, as a slow curve, swinging, strike one, I think almost unconsciously it has motivated away from the basic fact that Yogi has one of the smartest baseball brains around. He is a real smart ball player. Curveball low outside. Ball one. 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Terry picked up 2 quick strikeouts. Ralph goes overhead, kicks, delivers, and that looks like a change off the fastball, just high outside, ball 2. 2-1. The old sort of half turned around and visit on that one. 2-1 pitch. Curveball swung on and missed. Strike 2. Now let's see. What will he throw him? Two and two. Field. Fastball is low outside. He just missed with it. Tried to hit the outside corner at the knee. Mark 3-2. Terry has an alive fastball. Like he has all the pitches that a pitcher can need. Three and two. Half is set. A slow curve is swung on and popped up. It's a high ball almost to first base. Peppercorn now in foul ground by Steph. Makes the catch for the third out. So we have nothing across, and the score at the end of an inning and a half of this first game. Los Angeles nothing, and New York nothing.
Here's one good way to solve problems. Prevent them before they start. And you can prevent some pretty pesky problems in your car's engine when you make the 7-week switch to Atlantic Imperial. You see, while you're out driving, dirt can get into your carburetor and build up around the throttle plate. When this dirt builds up, well, your problems can pile up. Your car may stall, idle roughly, waste gasoline. But Atlantic Imperial washes the dirt away from the throttle plate, actually cleans your carburetor as you drive. So why not prevent that dirt buildup and the engine problems that go with it? Switch to Atlantic Imperial for 7 weeks. See for yourself how great your car can really run. Start now and make the 7-week switch to Atlantic Imperial. The gasoline that cleans your carburetor as you drive and keeps it clean.
Yogi Berra to lead it off. Last of the second inning, and this no-score first gets up 2. After Yogi, then Blanchard, followed by Pepitone. Man's up there hitting 206. They play him to pull. Outfield well around into right. Don Lee delivers in there for a called strike. Big, tall right-hander, and he has exceedingly long fingers. He can lose that baseball when he wraps his hand around it. There's a curve swung on, hit deep out to right field, close to the stands. Wagner's right there at the wall and makes the catch. A half step in from the wall. So a high fly ball to deep right field, and we have one out. Now we have John Blanchard. John hitting at 247. And they are swinging around on him as though he were married. Attacking that infield and outfield. They got 5 of them out there. And in addition, the infielders are deep. There is a fastball for a call strike on the outside above the knee. Lee, with his long fingers, throws a fork ball. That is one of his pitches. Low outside, threw it hard again. Ball 1. Right-handed deal. The serve swung on, grounded foul between the first base coach Wally Moses and the bag. Frank Pizzetti is over at his station at third base. At 1 and 2. Blanchard steps out, asks for the batter's rod and bag. Ball, 2 strikes. The pitch swung on. That looked like the fork ball. There's a ground ball to second score with a first, and Blanchard is easily out, 4-3. And we have Joe Pepitone hitting at 270. And the outfield is somewhat into right on him. Infield is a step or so around toward first. But they're back now with 2 infielders on each side. Although the shortstop now comes over to where he's almost directly in back out second base. Pepitone hits a ground ball foul outside first. Pepitone has very quick wrist. If you watch him, you don't seem to see him take any back swing. In other words, suddenly he swung before you realized he was ready to swing. Don Lee pitching. Bob Rogers catching. There's a fastball swung on late and fouled off. Strike 2. That was quite a trade that Los Angeles made to get Lee. Gave up a pitcher named Donahue that's already been sent down to the minor leagues by Minnesota. The 2-strike pitch, a curve, swung on, foul back. That was into the hand. Came to Los Angeles May 30. In the month of June, won 3 and lost 1 for them. 16 and 2/3, 17 and 2/3 innings without an earned run. Pitches outside, ball 1. 1 and 2. Tall right-handed delivers, and it's a foul tip. This fellow's dad was a fine major league pitcher, a big left-hander named Thornton Lee, you may recall. pitch for the White Sox. One and two. Bending to his pass. Capitone swings. Hits a fly ball into short right field. The second baseman is going out. Billy Moran, and makes the catch. So this is now 18 innings without an earned run by Lee. And totals at the end of two in this first game are 0-2-0 for the Angels and 0-0-0 for New York. And
remember, automobile manufacturers recommend changing your oil every 30 days in winter, every 60 days in summer. So see your Atlantic dealer now. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Home of Champions Network.
It's Good Sound Broadcasting. That's the Malcolm Jones Show on WOKO in Albany, Monday through Friday from 4 to 5 on this, the Pacemaker Station.
End of an inning, Minnesota at Washington. And nothing yet on the beginning of the doubleheader, Cleveland at Chicago. None of the games in the National League, their off singles, have begun. Mr. Hank Bauer and his boys will be in here tomorrow night. Tuesday afternoon. Doubleheader on Wednesday. Remember, the doubleheader Wednesday is 1:30. And now we have Lee, the pitcher, coming up to hit for himself. He has 6 hits for 33 at bat. Terry out on the mound. A slow curve, low outside. Ball one. The way Bella is gating him so far, Terry is using more slow breaking stuff than I have seen him use at this stage of the ball game. Works. They threw the fastball by him and swinging. 1-1. Ball and the strike. Still a little foot left. A slow curve is fouled back. Strike 2. 1-2. Now the batter is in. Pitcher pumping. Pitch. Swung on. Foul back. Count 1-2. Terry delivers. Fastball low inside. Ball 2. 2-2. We have wind currents for the players to contend with this afternoon. The height of the stadium, triple deck. When you get a strong wind blowing in, there's a fly ball that is hit in the short left field. Hector Lopez moving in under it. Takes it. The wind is rippling the pennants on the top of the stands. The wind blowing from left field to right field, from third base to first. But then it catches as it blows in and ricochets back in just the opposite direction down on the field level. See a piece of paper every so often just going opposite to the way you see the flag is blowing. And these are factors that the players have to contend with all the time. Right now, this wind blowing back is picking up loose dust, and they're holding up the game for a moment. That's more than 15 miles an hour to do that. Wow, blew it right up here. Dust and all. There's Little Pearson up there bunting and foul across the third base line. Bunting for a base hit. Now they're hitting 283. The Mighty Mites, of course, they're bound to call him. Curve, swung on and missed. Low inside hook. Nothing in two. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 out. Inning 3 and no score. Terry deals. Curve swung on, grounded down to first baseman Pepitone, who tosses to Terry, who's there in time for the out. First baseman to the pitcher covering, and they have 2 down. Billy Moran got the first hit of the ball game. Line single to center in the first inning, hitting 299. Swings at a change of pace, and there's a big one bouncer to Boyer at third. There's a throw over to first base to Pepitone, and the side is in order again. Score at the end of the 2.5 innings of the first game. Los Angeles nothing, and New York nothing.
Boy, that burns me up.
What does?
That dirty windshield. You'd think they'd have cleaned it at that station back there.
Next time, stop at an Atlantic station with a red ball sign. Buy as much gasoline as you want. If the Atlantic dealer doesn't clean your windshield and check your oil, you get your money back. You're gasoline free.
No kidding.
No kidding. If the weather permits, it's guaranteed.
The Atlantic dealer actually guarantees to check my oil and clean my windshield?
Yep, or your gasoline's free, your money's refunded. Don't forget that.
What kind of ball was that?
Red, my friend. The Atlantic red ball sign. This offer may vary in states such as Massachusetts and New Jersey.
Hey, you know, Red, I was sitting over there reminiscing, and I know now how old I'm getting. There are 3 kids in this game whose fathers I played against when I was with the Yankees. Tom Tresh, whose dad caught for the White Sox. Earl Averill, whose dad played for the Cleveland Indians. And Don Lee, whose father pitched for the White Sox. So what does that make me? Phil Rizzuto. An old one, Well, I tell you, Phil, you may not have thought about it, but it happens to everybody. And if you don't like it, consider the alternative. Now, here we go into the last half of the third inning. We have Hector Lopez, Cletus Boyer, Ralph Terry. It's called Don Lee on the mound for Los Angeles. Delivers, and it's a call strike. He sidearmed Lopez. Hector hitting 257. No score ball game. Fastball is inside. 1-1. Lee curves on the outside low, ball 1. He's 6'4", 210 pounds. Big boy from Arizona. But a college pitcher at the university. There's a foul ball back. Lee has beaten the Yankees once this year, and that was when he was with Minnesota. All right, 2-2. pitches just outside. Ball 3. Lee is not only tall, 6'4", but he's long-legged tall. Works. Ball 4. Fastball inside. First man he's allowed to get on. Of the 7 he's pitched to. Now we have Cletus Boyer hitting .284. Boyer has been going to right field for a lot of his hits lately. The Angel infield is in double play depth. They're not looking for the bunt. Well, now the third baseman comes up off the bag. He's not charging the plate. There's a swing and a high pop fly, and the shortstop, Joe Coffey, shielding his eyes with his glove hand, makes the catch, and we have one down. So the bunt was not on. Now we have Terry, who has 6 hits for 51 at bat. Trim figure. Now, they can't be certain they don't bunt him. Sometimes in a spot like this with a pitcher up and one out, they do bunt him. Hope the leadoff man can pick up the run. At least the Angels have to be positioned accordingly. And he sets the bunt and bunts at it. Misses for a strike. You might ask, well, why would you bunt with a pitcher? There's one out. Well, the idea is, one, you figure the percentage is that he's not going to get a base hit, and therefore you want to get some mileage out of him. Also, there is the possibility that if you let him hit, he might hit into a double play. He bunts at a pitch that was inside. He drew his bat back, and the ball ticked the bat. Terry tried to claim he ticked his uniform. The plate umpire Serrano says, no, tick your bat, strike 2. All right, 0-2. Lee's pitch, Terry was set to bunt and then took a low outside curve for a ball. The Angels are playing for that bunt, even with 2 strikes on him. One and 2. Pitch. And it was set to swing and then took another curve low outside, and it is 2 and 2. At the end of 2 innings, it is Detroit 2, Baltimore nothing. The wind that we were talking about seems to have subsided somewhat. Not a steady breeze. There goes Lopez. Terry swinging, hits the ground ball through, back up into a base hit into right field. So on a hit and run play, he comes up with a single to right. Delivered perfectly. Getting Lopez around the third base. Well. I guess Houck switched to that when he figured when the count got to 2 and 2 that Lee was probably going to come right in there. Not get behind. So it's a hit and run single. Into right field. First Yankee hit. And with one down, runners at first and third, and now we have the lead off Tom Kirk, the switch-hitting shortstop, batting left-handed, hitting .259, swinging and lining the ball foul in the right field corner. First up there, hitting left-handed. No score, and the Yankees are now sweeping. That was a big play by Terry, and that was a hit and run. They had Lopez started. And when he started, the second baseman broke to cover the bag, and that opened up the right side of the infield, and Terry hit it right through. Back one pitch, swung on, line foul, down the left field corner again. Strike two. And with one down, runners at first and third, and now I have the lead off Tom Tresh, switch-hitting shortstop, batting left-handed, hitting 259. Swinging and lining the ball foul in the right field corner. First up, they're hitting left-handed. No score, and the Yankees are now stepping. That was a big play by Terry. And that was a hit and run. They had Lopez started. And when he started, the second baseman broke to cover the bag, and that opened up the right side of the infield, and Terry hit it right through. Back one pitch, swung on, line foul, down the left field corner again. Strike two. Nothing in two. Lee, now that he has these men on, is being somewhat deliberate. Delivers. There's a breaking ball hit foul down in the lower right field stand. First has been out ahead of all three of these pitches. Still two strikes. Pitches. There's a ground ball that is hit down to short. They get one, they throw to first. Not in time at first base. Copy run over and touch second and through to first, not in time, so it's a run in. On a forced play at second, a run batted in by Trey. 1-0 favor the Yankees. They came close to the double play, but not quite. Lopez scoring. So thus you see the importance of that hit and run single. For example, if they hadn't been running and gotten the extra base, they still wouldn't have a score. 1-0 favor the Yankees, and the hitter is Richardson, who hit a fly ball to the left field in the first inning. Bobby's hit in the last 11. Throw to first, nothing doing. Bobby hitting 293. The outfield is straight away on him. There's a call strike. Nothing in one. Lee ready. Pitches. A curve swung on line. Foul in the left field corner. Strike two. Two strikes. The Yankees have got a run in the bank. The bulletin on the board says Richardson tops Yankees in hits, doubles, runs, and stolen bases. Foul ball back, and lead pitch three-quarter underhand. Bobby hung right in there. Submarine side on him. Are you ready? Sets leads off first. There he goes. Bobby swinging, hits the line drive off the second baseman's glove. And Fresh is on his way into third base, and Bobby's on at first. And let's see how that scores. Moran, again on a hit-and-run play, was going towards second base. And Bobby almost hit the ball behind him, but the second baseman stuck out his glove and just barely kicked it. Oh, he couldn't check his momentum. So 2 hit-and-run plays, it worked. And for Richardson, this is a single, and his 12th straight game he's hit safe here, and the batter now is Maris. The Yankees are running and hitting. And these are the first earned runs off Lee in 18 and 2/3 innings. There's Maris, bunts, and fouls it back. That was calculated to be a surprise. He's trying to bunt toward the open left side, which only has the third baseman over there. The overture. 5 men on the right side, 2 on the left. Reset, pitches, and Maris swings and misses at what I believe to be the forkball thrown high outside. Ball had an erratic wiggle to it, and I know the pitcher has that delivery. All right, 0-2. Yankees leading 1-0. Strike 3 swinging. He threw a fast slider on the outside and struck him out. And it is 1 run. The first in 19 innings off Lee earned run. 1 run on 2 hits. There were 2 men left. Totals at the end of 3 of the first game are 1-2-0 for New York, 0-2-0 for Los Angeles. Well, Phil, what about playing hit and run with a pitcher and having it come off that way?
How about that? When things are going your way, Red, that's what happens. And the Yankees twice played hit and run that inning, and it helped them get both hits both times. Richardson, too. Swung at the ball that Fresh was going to second, and it got him a base hit as Moran was going over to cover second base. Well, that's the fun of baseball. And the fun of smoking is in the flavor. And for the biggest flavor there is in filter smoking, try Winston. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. See on the scoreboard, the Red Sox lead Kansas City 3-0 at the end of an inning and a half. Detroit leads Baltimore 2-0 at the end of 2.5. Minnesota and Washington 0-0 at the end of 2. Cleveland and Chicago just getting underway. Francona has homered with 1 on. The Indians are leading. And the National League, only 1 game underway. Chicago at Milwaukee. There's no score at the end of 1. The Yankees leading here 1-0 as we get ready to go in the top of the 4th inning. For the Angels, it'll be Leon Wagner, Bob Rogers, and Lee Thomas facing Ralph Perry. Wagner lined out to center field in the first inning. Wagner batting .294. Ralph Perry ready. His first pitch is a curved hit foul outside of first, strike 1. In the Yankee dugout, Bill Scowen made a nice one-hand grab at that foul ball. Moose is resting this first game, as is Mickey Mantle. Curve is hitting the ground at second base. Richardson on the short hop has it, throws to first in time to get Wagner. Bobby started to back up on that ball. It took a big hop, then he had to come charging in and get it on the half hop. But he made the play, and it's 1 out. Brings up Bob Rogers, who lined a single to center in the first inning. Nice cool breeze blowing today. Not helping any fly balls hit to the outfield, that's for sure. But it makes the fans nice and comfortable. Rogers, a left-hand hitter. Swings and misses a fastball, strike one. On deck, Lee Thomas. Low curve, high and outside. 1-1. Howard Cosell up for a little change of pace. Been following the Mets all year. Doing a real good job. Up watching the Yankees today. Curve is inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Just helped himself to one of Joe Cooper's Winstons. Just make sure you leave enough for me. The 2-1 pitch. Line foul down in the seats down the right field line. Rogers golfed that one. A low fastball took right off his shoe top. And it looks like the bat might be cracked. The bat boy, very observing, sees a crack in the handle of the bat. And is going to go back for a new piece of lumber. Rogers remains at the plate talking with Yogi. 2 catchers talking things over. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Nobody on. Yankees leading 1-0 in the top of the 4th. Terry ready. Short windup. Change up, line to right field, and again curving back into the seats. 2 line shots by Bob Rogers, both going foul. Way down near the foul pole. Boy, the flags are blowing straight out. Quite a bit of debris blowing around the infield, and batters take time every once in a while, let the papers blow away. 2-2 curve, popped in the air, and back of second. Richardson is backing up, flips the glasses down, and takes it in short right field for the second out. That'll bring up Lee Thomas, who bounced to the second baseman. Out and nobody on. Broken back ground ball to first. Pepperstone up with it. Blitz to Terry covering in time for the out. Boy, Thomas broke that bat right at the handle. So the Angels get down in order in the top of the 4th inning, and at the end of 3 1/2, it's the Yankees 1, the Angels 0.
This is Frank Lovejoy. Like a lot of people in show business, I find it relaxing to spend some time with things that have nothing to do with my work. Cars, for instance. I have a car that's a collector's item. It's a beauty, and it still runs with the best of them. That's because I've taken care of it. Now, whether yours is a show car or one you depend on to get you where you're going, I know you want it to perform well. And there's something you can do that can help a lot in the way your car performs. Make the 7-week switch to Atlantic Imperial gasoline. You see, dirt deposits can build up in the important throttle plate area of your carburetor, and they can cause trouble. But when you drive with Atlantic Imperial, it actually cleans away those deposits. See for yourself. Make the 7-week switch to Atlantic Imperial. I know you'll like the difference this quality gasoline makes in your car. That's Atlantic Imperial. The gasoline that cleans your carburetor as you drive and keeps it clean.
Yogi flied out to right field in the second inning. He sent Wagner back to the barrier in right field. Each team with 2 base hits. The Yankees capitalizing on their 2. To score the lone run of this ball game in the 3rd inning. You know, the Angel infield does not overshift on Yogi. He's quite a pull hitter, but they know Yogi can go to left when he wants to. Strike one to Yog, and Yog looks back with those sad eyes to plate umpire Al Salerno. Didn't argue with him, just a little pleading. Maybe get one on the next pitch. The curve is popped in the air to short right field this time. Wagner is coming in, waving everybody away, and they collide. Wagner thinks somebody's got it, but Wagner was hit quite hard. Wagner was yelling and waving all the way, and Moran came from nowhere and knocked Wagner back, and Wagner did a complete somersault over. How Moran ever held on to that ball, I'll never know. They never saw each other. Actually, I never saw Moran because Wagner was coming in, had it all the way in easy tack. Moran had to be going full speed back. The trainer, George. Freddie Federico, the Los Angeles trainer, is out there administering a little first aid to Leon Wagner, who is laying flat on the ground. I think he had the wind knocked out of him. Nothing more serious than that. And that'd be a tough blow for the Angels for the rest of this series, and of course for as long as he would be out, if he is going to be out any length of time. He has 21 home runs. Wagner's moving his leg. And boy, that is a rough play, because when two fielders are going after a ball and neither one seeing each other, and suddenly to collide and not expect it, you cannot prepare yourself for the blow. A lot of times you can hear one outfielder running in as the infield is going out. But the roar of the crowd and the intensity of each player going after the ball kept them from hearing each other. And Wagner gets up now, and I think he's going to be all right. As I said, I think he had the wind knocked out of him. Rubbing his stomach, he's taking his glove. And Bill Rigney pats him on the back, as does the trainer, Freddie Federico, and Wagner's going to remain in the game. And as we told you, Billy Moran held on to that ball. Let's see, Wagner is 6'1", 194 pounds. And Moran is 5'11", and 180 pounds. Well, it's fairly close. Johnny Blanchard coming up. Johnny bounced out to second base in the second inning. And now the Angel infield overshipped. Torres remains alone between third and second. Man, that Pearson's way over in right center, and Earl Averill way over in left center. What room down that left field line. Don Lee into the windup. His pitch to Blanchard is over the outside corner, strike call. Curve full foul outside of first. And the ball boy booted that one, and he's mad because he had two perfect days in a row. And he threw one. Let's see, who was that? Bill Stafford, sitting in the corner of the Yankee dugout, tried to get it on one hop. It hit off his hand and went back into the crowd. So the fans get an unexpected souvenir. Next pitch to Blanchard is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on. The Yankees lead 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Lee into the windup. The pitch is outside. Ball 2, 2-2. Well, we're going to charge Bill Stafford with an error on the ball boy's throw into the dugout. Frank Crissetti will get all over Stafford for losing a baseball. There's a curve full foul down the right field line, back into the seat. I said some of those fans jump at those line drives, never come close to it with their hands, but they sure come close to it with their face and their heads. They leap up in the air and throw their hands up in the air. It's tough to judge that kind of a ball. It's amazing moron hit. Again, the 2-2 pitch. Foul back in the upper deck, out of play. How about that Sandy Koufax pitching that no-hitter against the Mets last night, striking out 13. I started to watch the beginning of that game, but first inning took so long. And it was getting so late, and we have a doubleheader today, I had to give it up. The pitch, changeup, pop foul coming back right near the booth. And it hit short of the television camera. Still 2-2 on Blanchard. On deck, Joe Pepitone. Fastball foul back in the upper deck. Oh, and a fan in the first row had it in his hands, dropped it and went back on the screen. So that evens up for the ball that Stafford deflected into the stand. One out, nobody on. Lee into the windup. Outside with the changeup, and it's a full count, 3-2. Blanchard batting .246, swings and fouls the pitch off the umpire's mask, and it almost knocks Big Al Salerno down. Boy, I'm telling you, that foul ball hit Salerno solid. And he staggered back a couple of steps. Adjusting his mask now. It's a 3-2 count on Blanchard. And that gave me a headache just watching him get hit with that ball. I don't know. I'm really in bad shape. Again, the 3-2 pitch. The check swing foul back in the mezzanine and out of play. Blanchard making Lee pitch. Piece of paper blowing directly in front of Blanchard. Well, it doesn't bother Johnny. It bothers some hitters. They call time. The pitch. He popped it up, back of the plate. Bob Rogers throws the mask away under it and takes it for the second out. 2 out, and it'll bring up Joe Pepitone. Nobody on. Pepitone popped up to second base in the second inning. Joe batting .269. Pitch to Joe is a curve over the outside corner, strike one call. Towards the Yankee dugout, right in the dugout, and Stafford boots another one. Only this one he got after it kicked off his hands. 0-2. Wait till Stafford hears about me telling about his errors in the dugout. And 2 on Pepitone. The pitch is lined to right field. Wagner going to his right and one-hands it. Oh, man, did he nonchalant that one. That ball was hit like a bullet. And Wagner was going back near the Yankee bullpen, just reached up and gloved it one-handed. The Yankees get down in order in the bottom of the fourth, and at the end of 4, it's the Angels 0 and the Yankees 1. I gave that score backwards, didn't I? It should be the Yankees 1 and the Angels 0. But anyway, right now I'd like to mention that the second half of this game is being brought to you by today's Valentine beer. The one beer, Golden Mellow from the Golden Harvest. So settle back and enjoy baseball and Valentine beer while we pause for station identification.
He's here every Monday through Saturday morning from 6 to 10 to tell you why and when. That's Jeff Davis and Jeff Davis Time on WOKO in Albany, New York.
On the scoreboard, the Red Sox lead Kansas City 3-0 at the end of 2. Fister against Wilson. Malzone homered with 2 on. Detroit leads Baltimore 3-0 at the end of 3.5. Bunning against Roberts. Colavito homered in the second, his 17th of the year. Minnesota leads Washington 2-0 at the end of 3. Pasquale against Ripplemeyer. Lenny Green homered with 1 on in the third. Cleveland leads Chicago 2-0 at the end of an inning and a half. Ramos against Buzzhart. Francona homered in the first with 1 on. In the National League, the Mets are at Los Angeles. Philadelphia at San Francisco. They start later on as the Cincinnati at Houston. Pittsburgh at St. Louis. McBean against Jackson. Chicago at Milwaukee, 0-0 at the end of 2. Cardwell against Henley. It's going to be another one of those days I can see where I can't get the words out of my mouth. I said that my buddy Dr. Lewis gave me some pills for this infected arm of mine. They must be happy pills. Of course, they kill the pain, but I feel like I'm floating. I'm numb all over, especially in the head, and what I want to say won't come out when I want to say it. So it should be a very interesting day. As long as we get the score right, though. Can't get in too much trouble. Here's Earl Averill. Averill struck out in the second inning, batting .243. Swings at a curve, foul tips at strike 1. On deck, Felix Torres. Yankees 1, Angels 0, top of the 5th. Fastball hit on the ground is short. Fresh on the big hop. Throws to Pepitone and plenty of time to get Averill. And it's 1 out. And I just broke the point of my pencil, Bill. I don't know how I did it. How do you like that? See, as I said, I'm numb. I don't no feeling. And Felix Torres was called out on strike in the second inning. On deck, Joe Coppy. Curve the Torres over, strike 1 call. Angels won their first game of the year here yesterday. And the first game they've ever won at Yankee Stadium against the Yankees. Sidearm curve swung at a missed strike 2. That was a beautiful pitch by Terry. Good motion, and it was a real bad pitch, but the motion fooled Torres. That's what he swung at. Good crowd here today. The 2-strike pitch, the fastball is high and tight. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out and nobody on. Fastball hit on the ground at second base. Richardson on the big hop. Flip to Pepitone, and it's 2 away. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Coppy. Coppy popped up to first base in the second inning. Right-hand hitting shortstop. 2 out and nobody on. Yankees 1, Angels 0. Top of the 5th. Sidearm curve hit on the ground in the hole. Stretch back. No, he can't get it. He had his glove on the ball backhanded, but I believe that'll be a base hit anyway. I don't think he could have thrown Coppy out. It goes as an infield single. They got by Boyer. I don't know how it ever got by Boyer. But it did, and Tresh had a glove on it, and it scooted underneath, rolled away about 10 feet. Ralph Terry had retired 12 men in a row since Rogers singled in the first inning, up to that single by Coppy. And it brings up Don Lee. Lee fly to left field in the third inning. Lee bats him right-handed. Pitch to Lee. A line drive to left field. A base hit. Oh, this could be trouble. Coming around second, going to third. And they're going to wave him in. They're going to wave him in. They throw to the plate. And he's out. Yogi made a beautiful play as he picked that ball up on one hop, and Coppy is hurt. Oh, Yogi made a sensational play. As Rocky Bridges waved Coppy in on the double by Don Lee, the throw came in from Lopez to Richardson. Richardson fired the ball to Yogi, but it was on one short hop. Yogi was blocking home plate, and as Yogi caught the ball on one knee, how he ever held on to it, tagged Coppy, and never lost the ball, I'll never know, but it was a great play by Yogi. Saving a run, that play goes from 7 to 4 to 2. And Coppy is still on the ground, and again Freddie Federico is out administering a little first aid. He hit Yogi hard, but you've got to remember that Yogi has set himself, and he has all that catching gear on. For the Angels, in the top of the fifth inning, no runs on 2 hits, no Yankee errors, 1 man left, and at the end of 4 1/2, it's the Yankees 1 and the Angels nothing.
Taste how golden mellow good a beer can be. Taste today's Valentine beer. Golden mellow good from the Golden Harvest. Valentine's Golden Harvest is barley specially grown, and hops mellow 2 weeks longer than any others. Next time, better make it Valentine. Valentine beer, America's finest since 1840.
So have a golden, golden Valentine from Valentine's Golden Harvest time. Refreshing and mellow every time. Golden mellow. Valentine, Valentine beer.
Joe Coppy is being put on a stretcher and will be carried out. He is conscious and is moving around, but rather than take any chances, Bill Rigney's going to take him out of the ball game, and there he leaves, and he gets a fine hand. Steve Bilko carried the stretcher out by himself, and he takes one in now from Bob Rogers, who has got to go up there and warm up the pitcher. Coppy was never knocked unconscious. And we're going to have a new shortstop, and I wonder if this is that new kid that they just brought up. Jim Fergozzi has had reams and reams of stories written about him. Jim Fergozzi was recalled from Dallas-Fort Worth in the Texas League on Friday, June the 29th. At Dallas-Fort Worth, he had played in 50 ball games, was at bat 219 times, has 62 hits, 9 doubles, 3 triples, 1 homer, 14 runs batted in, was batting .283. But he is supposed to be quite a fielder. He was born on April the 4th, 1942 in San Francisco, California. 6'2" and 194 pounds. Boy, he sure doesn't look that. Must be. So Fergozzi goes in. That's spelled Fregosi. For the Yankees, Hector Lopez will lead off. Hector walked and scored the game's only run in the third inning, and that was the only walk that Lee has issued in this ball game. That usually happens to pitchers with real good control. When they do walk a man, it costs them. Lopez batting .257. As soon as we get further word on Joe Coppy, we'll certainly pass it along to you. Lee's pitch to Lopez, a ground ball, one hopper to Felix Torres at third. Throw to Lee Thomas, and Lopez is out of there. One pitch, one out, and it brings up Clete Boyer, who popped to the shortstop in the third inning. And Fregosi was quite an athlete while he was in high school. He won 11 letters. 3 in baseball, 3 in track, 3 in football, and 2 in basketball. One out, nobody on. Yankees 1, Angels nothing in the bottom of the fifth. Boyer takes the pitch outside, ball 1. Clete batting .283. The fastball is high, ball 2. 2-0. Fastball swung it and missed, strike 1. 2-1 on Clete. One pitch is swung in and missed. Strike 2, 2-2. Lee into the windup. His 2-2 pitch, a ground ball to third. Torres backs up and hits him. The shortstop's up with it, but slips on the turf. That took a bad hop and hit Torres on the shoulder, and that should go as a base hit. It was, whoops. They are charging Torres with an error. And I know it's going to get me in trouble again, but I got to have a talk with that official scorer. That was really a wicked hop. It never touched his glove. As a matter of fact, it almost hit him in the face, off his shoulder. The shortstop went over and backed it up, caught it and slipped on the ground. And we'll put that in lightly. Error to third baseman because he might change his mind over there. It brings up Ralph Terry, who after failing the bunt on 2 pitches, single to right field, sending Lopez to third. And I think they changed that to a base hit. Attaboy, there's a throw to first, and Boy is back. They have changed it to a base hit, and rightly so. The stretch. The pitch, Terry bunts and fouls it off. Looks like Ralph's going to pull the same play he did last time. So that's 3 hits now of Don Lee. And I won't get in trouble after all. One strike on Terry. Lee Thomas holding first against Boyer. Here's the stretch. Terry swings and hits one to left center field. Pearson, digging to his right, is under it now, and he has it. And it's a good thing Averill didn't bump into him. They were both going for that ball. And Pearson was shading Terry way over in right center. He had a long run for that ball and was hitting almost straight away center. Well, it's 2 out, and here's Tom Tresh. Tresh pops to short, and Bounced into a fourth play, but by beating out the return throw to first, he was credited with an RBI. I'm batting .258. Boyer at first with 2 outs. The pitch is bunted foul outside of third. Strike one. Lee gets the new ball, rubbing it up. Yankees 1, Angels nothing in the bottom of the 5th. Boyer leads away. The pitch out, but Boyer was not going. The Yankees have been playing a running ball game today, and they've made it pay off. Ready for the 1-1 pitch. Bluff going, and the curve is outside. Boyer gave a good fake that time. As though he were really going to go. Took about 3 steps, and Bob Rogers jumped out of his catching position, but Fleet hustled back to first. 2-1. I said when runners do that, it throws off the pitcher, the catcher, and the shortstop and second baseman. It makes them move. Makes the pitcher get rid of the ball maybe a little quicker, and he loses his control. And sometimes the catcher can drop the ball, and Boyer bouncing off first. The bluff going again, and the pitch, whoops, Al Salina started to put his right hand up and ended up scratching his ear. Very clever the way Al did that. It almost fooled him. He almost put the right hand up for a strike and quickly reached the lobe of his ear. Quick thinking. So it's 3-1. The stretch by Lee. This time Boyer goes, the ball is fouled in the Yankee dugout. Stafford didn't have a chance to boot that one. It wasn't near him. Oh, I'm going to really make him mad at me when he hears the report. And little Pete, don't you tell him. Little Pete listens in, down the Yankee clubhouse. Big Pete does too, but I know Big Pete wouldn't squeal on me. Full count on strike. Now Boyer will be going with 2 out. There he goes. The ball is fouled back in the upper deck. A 3-2 count on stretch. On deck, Bobby Richardson. Here's the stretch. The pitch is fouled back out of play in the upper deck. Having his cuts up there, and Lee is pumping that ball around the plate. Yankees scored in the 3rd inning, and that's the only score of the ball game. They lead 1-0. Again, the 3-2 delivery, and there goes Boyer. The pitch is lined foul outside of first this time. Boy dropped that one again, but he recovered quickly. I don't think you can give him an error on that one. It's still 3-2. Boyle leading off first base. Lee into the stretch position. His pitch is hit deep to right. This one is gone believe Wagner back. He can't get it. A home run for Trick. Tom Trick, it's his fifth home run of the year. The first one off the Angels. And the Yankees lead 3-0. So Tom Trick has driven in all 3 runs for the Yankees in this ball game, giving him a total of 39 on the year. And that ties him with Roger Maris for the team lead in runs batted in. Bobby Richardson takes the pitch low, ball 1. How about that Tom Trick? 39 RBIs. Tom Trick hits his 5th home run of the year. The first one off the Angels. And the Yankees lead 3-0. So Tom Trick has driven in all 3 runs for the Yankees in this ball game, giving him a total of 39 on the year. And that ties him with Roger Maris for the team lead in runs batted in. Bobby Richardson takes the pitch low, ball 1. How about that Tom Trick? 39 RBIs. Bobby swings and lines one to left center field, but Averill going over under it and takes it. The ball hit right on the nose. The Yankees come up with 2 runs on 2 base hits. No Angel errors and nobody left, and at the end of 5, it's the Yankees 3 and the Angels nothing. On the scoreboard, it's the Red Sox 3 and Kansas City 1 at the end of 3 1/2. Now in the bottom of the 4th, Tyler Uronia's homered, so the Red Sox are leading 4-1. Detroit 3 and Baltimore 2 at the end of 4 1/2. Colavito has a homer. Minnesota 4 and Washington none at the end of 3 1/2. Green and Allen each have homered for the Twins with a man on. Cleveland leads Chicago 3-0 at the end of 3. Francona homered with 1 on. The National League, the Mets at Los Angeles, Philadelphia at San Francisco, Cincinnati at Houston start later on. Pittsburgh failed to score in the top of the 1st. The Cardinals are batting, and Milwaukee leads the Cubs 1-0 at the end of 3. The Kansas City A's and our old buddy skipper Hank Bauer come in for 3 days, a night game tomorrow night, a day game Tuesday, and a doubleheader on Wednesday the 4th of July. And the Yankees will take to the road for 3 days and 3-day break for the All-Star game, which will be played on July 10th down in Washington. At the top of the Angel batting order, we'll face Ralph Terry here in the top of the 6th. Albie Pearson, Billy Moran, and Leon Wagner. Pearson popped to short and bounced to first. The Yankees are leading 3-0. We got another big ball game to go. Pearson batting .282. Ralph Terry's first pitch to Albie, right in their strike call. Pearson bats him left-handed, stands close to the plate. Curve is low, ball 1. 1-1. Curve full foul to the right of the Yankee dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
fastball popped in the air to short left field. Fresh back, Lopez in. Lopez still coming in. He's under it now and has it. Pearson flies to short left field. One away. Here's Billy Moran. Single to center. Bounce to third. Moran batting .298. Billy Moran swings and misses a fastball, strike one. We got the word on Joe Coppy. He suffered a groin injury, and he will miss a day or two. Right now, it is not considered to be serious. But they're going to keep him under observation for a day or two. And we're happy to hear that Joe isn't too seriously injured. There's a curve low, 1-1. So we've had two collisions today. Moran and Wagner collided in right field. And Leon Wagner had the wind knocked out of him. And then Coppy and Berra collided at the plate. Coppy really got creamed. There's a foul back in the upper deck out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Yankees 3, Angels nothing in the top of the 6th. Foul at the plate. Sidearm curve that Moran just got a piece of. Curve hit off the end of the bat over towards the Yankee dugout. Top short of the dugout. Still 1-2. Yogi had the ball boy retrieve that foul boy and ball and keep it in play. Boy, foul boy. No such thing. Foul ball. How now, brown cow. Fastball line to left center field, in there for a base hit. And Maris makes a nice play as he cuts the ball off and keeps it to a long single. If that ball had gotten by Maris, that would have been an easy triple and a possibly inside the park home run. A single to deep left center. Hit number 4 off Terry. Here's Leon Wagner. Behind the center and bounce to second base. 1 out. Hits off Terry. Wagner at first. To deep right field. Blanks it back near the wall, and it's a home run for Wagner. Leon Wagner hits his 22nd home run of the year. Wagner now leads the major leagues in homers. A long, high home run. And it's now a 3-2 ball game in favor of the Yankees. For Ralph Terry, that's his 21st home run he's given up this year. You know I made a mistake. I said Wagner's at first, and here's the pitch, and Wagner hits the homer. Now, that's a pretty good feat. But Moran was on first and Wagner hit the homer. Bob Rogers takes a curve over, strike 1 call. Rogers singled and popped to second. Wagner was up there batting .293. He now has 60 runs batted in. Rogers batting .278. Curve full foul over in the Yankee dugout. So it's a 3-2 ball game. was Wagner's first home run off Yankee pitching this year. Fastball is high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boy, he hit that one high. Powering fly ball. On deck is Lee Thomas. 1 out, nobody on. Fastball hit deep to right field. And this one, Johnny Blanchard has right against the wall. Oh, man. He was right against the barrier. He couldn't go back another inch. And it looked like they had back-to-back homers and had the ball game tied up. But Blanchard was back as far as he could go and made the catch. 2 out. Here's Lee Thomas. Thomas bounced to second and bounced to first, batting .269. You know, the wind didn't seem to affect Wagner, but it did Rogers, and it actually looked like Rogers hit the ball better. First pitch to Thomas is high, ball 1. On deck, Earl Averill. 2 out, nobody on. Yankees 3, Angels 2. Top of the 6th. Curve, full foul, out of play. 1-1. Curve is over the outside corner. Strike 2 called. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's Terry's pitch. A fastball fouled out of the stadium, over the roof, and out of play. Remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 out, nobody on. Ralph, ready now. Fastball, strike 3. It was a bad pitch. Thomas went after, struck out. For the Angels in the top of the 6th, 2 runs on 2 hits. No Yankee errors, nobody left at the end of 5 1/2. It's the Yankees 3 and the Angels 2.
Now's the time for a frosty Valentine. Golden Mellow Good from the Golden Harvest. Golden Harvest grain, golden good and prime. Hops mellowed longer on the vine. Golden Harvest for Valentine's here. Valentine's Golden Harvest is barley specially grown and hops mellowed 2 weeks longer than any others. Next time, better make it Valentine. Valentine beer, America's finest since 1840. So have a golden Valentine. From Valentine's Golden Harvest time. Refreshing and mellow every time. Golden mellow. Valentine beer.
Pause for station identification.
It's the Bob Cathcart Show, 11 to 1 on the Pacemaker Station, Monday through Friday on WOKO in Albany, New York.
Roger Maris batting .241. Steps into the batter's box. Roger flied to right and struck out. Don Lee's first pitch is hit deep to right field. And it curves far way back in the upper deck. And Maris got a hold of that one. Not fouled by too much, way back in the upper deck. And Bill Rigney giving the sign to his fielders to move around a little bit. They can't move much for those that go in the seats. There's a pitch on the outside corner, strike 2. On deck, Yogi Berra. Two-strike pitch hit in the air to center field. Albie Pearson moving under it. And the little center fielder takes it for the first out. One away, and here's Yogi Berra. Yogi flied to right and popped to second. Yogi batting .204. First pitch to Yogi. A ground ball in the hole. Moran was left. Can't get it. A base hit for Yogi. And Moran tumbled over as he lunged for that ball. Wagner up with it. Base hit for Yogi. And that's hit number 5 for the Yankees. Brings up Johnny Blanchard. Bounced to second and fouled out to the catcher. Yankees 3, the Angels 2. Tom Tress has driven in all 3 runs. Oh, boy. 3 runs. 1 on a ground ball and 2 on a home run. 1 out. Yogi leading away. The pitch to Blanchard. A ground ball. The first time it's backed up. Goes to... Nope. He started to throw to second and couldn't get it out of his glove. He steps on first, getting Blanchard for the unassisted put out. But Yogi goes to second. Thomas had Yogi easily at second, but couldn't get the ball out of his glove. Here's Joe Pepitone, who popped to second and lined to right field. In yesterday's ball game against the Angels, the Angels won. It was the first win for the Angels in all the games they played here at Yankee Stadium last year and this year. 2 out, Berra at second. Pitch to Pepitone inside, ball 1. On deck, Hector Lopez. There are 2 outs. Pitch to Pepitone. Swing and a miss at a low curveball. 1-1. That was down below Joe's knees. One the count. Yogi leads away. Pitch is inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lee has been crowding Pepitone with his fastball and curve. And Pepitone wants plate umpire Al Salerno to take a look at the ball. And Al's going to throw it out of play. Marked up a little bit. Lee rubs up the new ball. Now the right-hander sets. His curve is fouled back off the screen. 2-2. Balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Yankees 3, Angels 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Pitch is a curve, and he checks the swing in time as it stayed outside. 3-2. payoff pitch. Here it is, and it's a ground ball at second. Moran off his knee. Copy the shortstop up at the throws to first, not in time. It's not Copy, it's Fragosi. Man, that hit Moran solidly on the knee. Kicked about 20 feet over the shortstop, and Moran is charged with the error. And that's only his fourth error of the season. Boy, that hit him hard. He's got his glove over his left knee right now. And that hurt because it hit solid. It kicked maybe better than 20 feet right to the shortstop, who threw to Lee Thomas, but not in time, and that's an error. Now the Yankees have runners at first and third with 2 out, and here's Hector Lopez. Lopez walked and scored in the third inning, bounced to third in the fifth. So the Angels have given the Yankees 2 breaks in this inning. Let's see if they can capitalize on it. Lopez takes the pitch inside, ball 1. Had been able to throw Yogi out at second on the 4th play, and that ball would have bounced right to the shortstop, who would have stepped on second, forcing Johnny Blanchard, but it didn't happen. There's a fly to deep right. Wagner going back near the bullpen. He leaps, and what a play! I think he got it! Holy cow, what a play Wagner made! Wait a minute, it's a home run. It's a home run. Wagner could... Wait a minute, no, he's out. What is it? What did he give us? It's a home run. Holy cow, what a play Wagner almost made. He leaped high in the air. He had the ball in his glove, but he landed in the seats on a fly, landed right on somebody's lap. And now Bill Rigney is out there talking with Nestor Shylock. Wagner's got a big grin on his face, but there's nothing you can do about it because once you're in the stands, that's fan territory, and if they knock the ball out of his glove, it's a home run, and it's a 3-run homer for Lopez, and the Yankees did take advantage of the 2 breaks, the big error by Billy Moran. A 3-run homer. Yankees now lead 6-2. Man, I tell you, that Wagner made a gallant try for that ball. He leaped high in the air over the railing, which is about 3.5, 4 feet high. And the momentum of his leap and the ball hitting his glove carried him back into the seats, but he came out without the baseball. So now it's 2 out. The Yankees leading 6-2, and the batter is Clete Boyer. Popped to short and singled and scored in the 5th inning. Fresh is driven in 3 runs, and Lopez is driven in 3. Pitch to Boyer, low outside, ball 1. Ball was hit with a lot of power to the opposite field by Lopez. Swing and a miss. Strike 1, 1-1. Slow curve outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitches low outside, ball 3, 3-1. Boyer batting .285. There's a foul back in the upper deck out of play. Full count, 3-2. Tough pitch to Cleat. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Struck him out. But the Yankees come up with 3 runs, all of them unearned because of the error. 1 Angel error. Wait a minute. That's 3 runs on 2 hits. 1 error and nobody left. And at the end of 6 full innings, it's the Yankees 6 and the Angels 2. On the scoreboard, it's the Red Sox 5, the A's 1 at the end of 4 1/2. Pfister against Wilson. Malzone Holman in the first with 2 on. Pagliarone in the fourth with nobody on. Detroit 3 and Baltimore 2 at the end of 5 1/2. Bunning against Roberts. Colavito Holman in the second with nobody on his 17th. Minnesota 6, Washington nothing at the end of 4 1/2. Pasquale from Minnesota. Ripplemeyer started. Daniels in the fourth. Lenny Green and Bernie Allen each homered with a man on. Cleveland 3, White Sox nothing at the end of 4. Ramos for Cleveland. Buzz Hart started. Stone in the fifth. Francona homered in the first with 1 on. The Mets are at Los Angeles in the National League. Philadelphia at San Francisco. Cincinnati at Houston have not started. Pittsburgh 2, the Cardinals nothing at the end of an inning and a half. McBean against Jackson. Burgess homered in the second with 1 on. Milwaukee 1, the Cubs nothing at the end of 4. Cardwell against Henley. We've got another big ball game to go here at Yankee Stadium between the Angels and the Yankees. And tomorrow night, the Kansas City A's will be coming in. They'll be here Tuesday afternoon, and a big doubleheader on Wednesday, the 4th of July. Well, Jack Reed has gone in to play right field for the Yankees in place of Johnny Blanchard. Ralph Perry's tying his shoelace. And ready to move in here now and carry you along the rest of the way will be Mel Allen.
Hello there, everybody. As we get ready for the 7th inning, New York leading 6-2. Earl Averill comes up for the Angels. Felix Torres on deck and Joe Coppy to follow. Averill struck out, grounded to short. Looks at a curveball in there. Strike 1. Jack Reed in right field in place of Blanchard. Ralph Terry into the windup. The pitch is a fastball a little high, and the count's 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch to the right-hand batter swung on and fouled back to the screen. Strike 2. Getting a sign from Yogi. Taking his time. Now he's set. Into the windup. In comes the pitch. A curve that's lashed into center for a base hit. Knocked down by Maris, and Averill is on with a single to center to open the 7th inning. Up comes Felix Torres. Took a 3rd strike and grounded to second. The 7th hit off Terry. The Angels have out hit New York 7-6. New York leading 6-2 as Buddy Blattner broadcasted the Angels just remarked. He used to be a major league player himself, as you know. You don't give the team 4 outs in an inning. The pitch is swung on. There's a high pop end to short right. Reed coming in and makes the catch. You get away with it a lot of times. He said you don't give the Yankees 4 outs in an inning. I said you don't give anybody 4 outs in an inning. Now, here is Joe Coppy. Foul to first and single to short. Fregosi, who replaced Joe Coppy. Right-hand batter. Coppy being hurt back in the 5th inning. The delivery is low outside for a ball. I'm glad to learn that he did not suffer a serious injury in his collision at the plate. Jim Fregosi swings and lets a fly ball to right. Jack Reed backs up and makes the catch. The wind blowing quite strongly out in that direction helps him out and get up real high. And now we'll have a pinch hitter for Don Lee. Tom Burgess. Tom Burgess. First baseman, outfielder, a left-hand batter. Two outs, one on. The pitch is swung on and missed. Strike one. Burgess has had 16 for 74, batting .216. Used large as a pinch hitter. Now the pitch, swung on and missed on a let-up curve. Strike two, 0-2. Yankees 6, Angels 2 in the seventh inning. First game of a doubleheader. Ralph Terry's next pitch, fastball just inside, and the count is 1-2. Next delivery, curve is hit off the hand of the pitcher. Terry up with it, throws to Tupatone in time. Here's a slow bouncer. Terry on his follow-through, leaning toward the first baseline to reach back and knock the ball down. No runs, one hit, no errors, and one left on. At the end of 6.5 innings, the Yankees 6, the Angels 2. It's Valentine beer time, wherever you are. Enjoy the golden mellow good taste that comes from Valentine's own Golden Harvest. Every mellow sip brewed from choice grains of barley specially grown for Valentine. And hops that mellow 2 weeks longer on the vine than the hops that go in any other beer. Only today's Valentine beer gets this Golden Harvest. A Golden Harvest that makes Valentine the only beer that tastes so golden mellow good. Valentine gives you a taste you'll always be glad to come back to. Crisp, clean, naturally more refreshing. Valentine, America's finest since 1840. On our Home of Champions network, we pause for station identification.
Closing quotations, final stock prices, weekdays at 5:55 on Today in Wall Street over WOKO in Albany, New York. The time, 5 before 4.
Bob Bott, B-O-T-Z, coming in to relieve Don Lee, making his 13th appearance. Lee, in his 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, walked 1, and struck out 2, gave up 3 earned runs. Bob Bott. Last year with Louisville. Born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, lives in West Allis now. He's 5'11", weighs 170. "27 years old. Ralph Terry be the first man that he'll face Yankees 6, Angels 2, last to 7. Bought the right-hander into the windup, and the pitch is swung on, grounded to third, and takes a bad hop again off Torres. And Terry is safe at first. The second bad hop off the shoulder this time of Torres. Moyer hit a bad hop single in the 5th inning. And it was a rough break for the Angels because there was an out before it and out after it, which meant normally the side had been retired. Tresh hit a homer. And conceivably, the last 5 runs scored by the Yankees might not have been scored. There's a bunt by Tresh. Of course, that's all part of the game. Some days it goes your way, some days it doesn't. A bad hop single and an error, all followed by homers. Pitch is outside for a ball. Good for a total of 5 runs. Tom Tresh, who homered, swings and misses. Strike 2. Ralph Perry, who singled in the 3rd inning to set up the Yankees' first run, moving Lopez to 3rd. The run coming home on an infield out. The delivery swung on, hit foul, just barely foul outside the bag at first. A 1-2 count on Tom Tresh. Hitting .260. Tresh hit his homer off Don Lee, and at one time, both of their fathers were together as a battery. The pitch outside for ball 2-2. Don Lee's father is Thornton Lee, a pitcher, and Tom's daddy, Mike Tresh, the catcher. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, bounced to first to Thomas. Steps on first for 1, throws down to Fregosi, tags out Terry for a double play. Tresh bounces down to Lee Thomas, steps on first, throws to Fregosi to double up Ralph Terry. Terry tagged out, and here now is Bob Richardson, flied to left, singled, and flied to left. The pitch is swung on and popped up to short. Fregosi moves with it and makes the catch as the wind carried it a little. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, no one left on. At the end of 7 innings, New York 6 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Angels 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. Matter of fact, in this game there are 3 boys whose fathers played in the American League. Earl Averill, Don Lee, who departed in favor of the relief pitcher, and Tom Tresh. Earl Averill Sr., although actually, when I say senior, I mean the father, I should say, because this Earl is not really a junior. He has only one of his father's names, not both. But the senior Averill will be here on July 28th, the annual Old Timers Day, when the American National League All-Stars of a quarter century ago, 1937, will be honored here, including the 4 most recent inductees into the Hall of Fame. Before we go into the 8th inning, I hope you go into the kitchen for some frosty Ballantine beer. Tastes so gold and mellow good. Red Sox 5, Kansas City 1, 10-5. Detroit 3, Baltimore 2, end of 6. Minnesota 6, Washington nothing at the end of 5 innings. Cleveland 3, Chicago nothing, 10 of 4 innings. They're playing a doubleheader. In the National League, Pittsburgh and St. Louis 2-2 at the end of 2. Milwaukee 1, Chicago nothing at the end of 5. And the only 2 games we have to report on at present. Tomorrow night, the Kansas City Athletics are here. Game time 8 o'clock. They'll also be here Tuesday afternoon and a doubleheader on Wednesday, July 4th. Plenty of good seats. As we go to the 8th inning of the first game of the doubleheader, Albie Pearson leads off, top of the order. Ralph Terry's pitch is fouled off to the left of the plate. Strike 1. 6-2 New York. Pearson tops to short, grounded to first, slide to left. They appeared to be checking his swing. Batting .281. Next pitch is a slow curve in there, strike 2, nothing in 2. Delivery swung on, grounded foul down the first baseline. A 2-strike count. Here's the pitch, and it's outside, 1-2. Goes to the windup, and Albie Pearson takes strike 3 call. One away. Now, Billy Moran. Single to center, grounded to third, single to center. 2 for 3, batting .301. .6-2 New York, 8th inning. Terry's pitch swung on line into left field for a base hit. And it's backhanded by Lopez, and Moran is held to a single. Hector making a nice play on that ball. Now Leon Wagner coming up. Getting a hand for 2 reasons. His 22nd home run in the 6th inning and a magnificent effort to try and grab Lopez's homer in the 6th inning as he jumped and fell into the seats in right field. Terry ready, delivers to Wagner, swings and lets a high fly into left field. Lopez moving in now and around and under it and has it. He had to move the way I was calling it, the way the wind was blowing. He started back and then over and in. 2 away. And the batter, Bob Rogers. Single to center, pop to second, fly to right. Switch hitter. Batting left-handed, of course, against Ralph Terry. Moran moving off first. Joe Pepitone behind him. Here's the pitch. In there, strike 1. Right-hander set, delivers outside, ball 1, 1-1. Trying another curve. Next delivery outside. Ball 2, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on, ground ball, hit by first to Richardson. Throws back to first and safe. And the ball is thrown away, and on to third goes Moran. After Terry, thinking he had beaten the play, threw the ball down to the mound, trying to run it off the field. Moran raced on to third. What happened was the ball got by Pepitone, floated up, but Richardson made a magnificent play behind him and threw to Terry. And Johnny Stevens said he was safe. Ralph thought it was an out. And thinking it was a third out, threw the ball down, rolling it toward the mound, right off the field. Moran, who had stopped at second, then raced on to third. And here's Lee Thomas. A left-hand batter, grounded to second, first and struck out. 6-2 New York, 8th inning. 2 on and 2 out. And the pitch is swung on. It's a high fly ball into right center. Maris is waiting for it and has it. And the side is retired. Rogers is credited with the hit. And Terry is charged with an error for permitting Moran to go from second to third, since you must account for the advancing of a runner in your scoring. And since he had already stopped at second and then continued, you had to account for it, and therefore the error. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on at the end of 7.5 innings. New York 6, Los Angeles 2.
Ask the man for Valentine. You've heard us mention that many times, and we hope you will ask the man for Valentine. Wherever beer is sold, wherever people have a thirst, wherever the best is ready to pour or ready to go, you'll find Valentine beer getting the nod. The Golden Harvest is the reason for Valentine's very special kind of refreshment. Every drop of today's great Valentine beer is brewed from selected grains of choice barley, specially grown and gathered from costlier premium hops that are fine ripened and mellowed 2 weeks longer. Try today's wonderful Valentine, America's finest since 1840. In the last of the 8th, Roger Maris leads off. Bob Botts, the right-hander, delivers low and inside. Ball 1. Maris flied to right, struck out, flied to center, while Don Lee was in there. Botts' pitch is swung on and popped up behind the plate. Rogers moving under it, and he has it. Standing right in the on-deck circle of the visiting team. One away, and the batter now is Yogi Berra. Flied to right, popped to second, and single to right. New York 6, Los Angeles 2. It's the last of the 8th. Maris was hitting .240 before he went out. Berra, .208. Botts' pitch is high outside. Ball 1. The right-hander pitches to Berra. Inside to the fastball. Count is 2-0. Jack Reed, who replaced Blanchard in the outfield, in the 7th on deck. Yogi takes high and away, knuckleball. 3 balls, no strikes.
Now the pitch. Outside for ball 4. Barrow draws the walk, and Jack Reed comes up. Set 5 for 18, hitting .309. He had a great day last Sunday. He hit the home run in the 22nd inning. One out, one on. The pitch swung on, fouled off up here. Strike 1. New York. It's the last of the 8th. Now the pitch swung on, pop foul, coming back out of play. Strike 2. Fell out of the upper deck, back onto the netting. Bots into the stretch. Here's the pitch. Look out. Sails high and inside. Down goes Jack Reed. And Houck started out of the dugout thinking Jack got hit by the pitch on the hand. But Jack said no. In fact, the umpire said no first. Houck went out more worrying about Reed rather than whether he got hit or not. Pitch is swung on. There's a high drive into left. Averill goes way back, still going back, and he's got it. Averill went way back into left. There's the kind of ball he hit last Sunday, too. Remember, today the wind was blowing out to right, squirting across from left, and held that one up a little. He wouldn't have gotten a homer, but he'd have had an extra base hit because he didn't pull it sharp enough to get a home run. 2 away, and here's Joe Pepitone. Pops to second, line to right. Safe on an error, charged to Moran. The pitch swung on, popped high. Fly ball into short left center. Averill moves over, under it, makes the catch. Sides retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on. At the end of 8 innings, the Yankees 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, and 3 left on. The Angels 2 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, and 6 men left on base. On the Valentine scoreboard in the American League, Boston 5, Kansas City 3 at the end of 5.5 innings. Wilson pitching for Boston, Pfister for Kansas City, Fisher in the 5th, Jones in the 6th. Home runs, Malzone with 2 on, and Pagliarone. Detroit 3, Baltimore 2 at the end of 7.5 innings. Bunting for the Tigers. Hall relieved Roberts in the 8th for the Orioles. Rocky Colavito got his 17th. Minnesota 7, Washington nothing at the end of 6.5. Pasquale for the Twins. Ripplemeyer for Washington. Daniels in the 4th, and Hannon in the 6th. Home runs, Lenny Green, 1 on. Bob Allen, not Bob Allen, but Bernie Allen, 1 on. And Bob Allison. First game of a doubleheader, Cleveland 4, Chicago 2 at the end of 5 innings. Ramos for Cleveland. Buzzard started for Chicago. Stone in the 5th and Fisher in the 6th. Francona homered with 1 on. In the National League, Philadelphia nothing. Giants batting in the first inning. Mahaffey against McCormick. Pittsburgh at St. Louis, 2-2 at the end of 4 innings. McBean against Jackson. Burgess homering in the 2nd with 1 on for the Pirates. Milwaukee 1, Chicago nothing at the end of 5.5. Henley against Cardwell. Cincinnati at Houston. New York at Los Angeles start later. Kansas City here tomorrow night, Tuesday afternoon, and doubleheader on Wednesday. In the 9th inning for the Angels, Earl Averill leads off. Struck out, grounded to short, single to center. Felix Torres on deck.
and the pinch hitter for Bott. 6-2 New York. Ralph Perry into the windup, and the pitch is a fastball over, strike one. Averill hitting .245 on the season. Good power. Terry's next pitch, curve. It's hit high and foul down the left field line, out of play up onto the roof. 2 strikes. Yogi talking to Averill. Meanwhile, Ralph Perry getting the sign, goes into the windup, and his pitch is a curve. It's fouled off behind the plate. Count remains 0-2. Curve that broke low and away. Errol talking to Salerno, probably asking whether that would have been a strike or not. He laid off it. He had to protect the plate. 0-2. And the pitch. Fastball fouled off upstairs to the right of the plate. Count remains 0-2. Up, and the pitch is a curve, swung on and foul back out of play upon the netting. Now let up curveball. Averill right in there, staying with him. Now the windup. And the pitch. Another curve. It's lined into left field for a base hit. Taken on a hop by Lopez. Earl Averill singles to left. Felix Torres coming up. Struck out. Grounded to second. Flied to right. With Fregosi. We're going to have a runner, Gordon Winhorn, going in to run for Averill. The pitch is swung on and missed, strike one. Winhorn running for Averill. One on, nobody out in the ninth inning. Jerry's pitch on the way is a little low. A 1-1 count. The stretch, the pitch, curveball fouled off to the left of the plate. Strike 2, 1-2. A 1-2 count on the right-hand batter. Winhorn leading away from first. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled to the left of the plate. Into the Angels dugout. One ball, 2 strikes. nobody out. Gordon Winhorn running for Earl Averill, leading away from first. The pitch on the way, swung on, hit down the line for a base hit. Kicks off the barrier to Lopez, who throws to third, holding Winhorn at second. And out of the dugout now comes Ralph House as the Angels picked up 2 straight hits with nobody out in the 9th inning. And we're going to have a relief pitcher coming in. Eleven hits off Ralph Terry in 8 innings, nobody out in the 9th. He didn't walk anybody. And he struck out 4. Gave up a 2-run homer in the 6th inning to Wagner. Wagner's 22nd. Luis Arroyo is coming in. Talking to Rocky Bridges, and we'll have a runner for Torres. Coming out of the bullpen. Gets a hand as he leaves. Ted Bozefield will be in there to run for Torres. Bozefield on first and Winhorn on second. 2 pinch runners for Averill and Torres, who singled. And Arroyo is in to relieve Perry. Jim Fregosi is the scheduled batter. Steve Bilko is coming out of the dugout. And we'll see whether he'll bat for Fregosi or Bott. Bilko goes up, puts his hand on the shoulder of Fregosi and says something to him. Fregosi's going to hit. Bilko on deck. Fregosi bats right-handed. 2 on, nobody out in the 9th inning. New York leading 6-2. Winhorn leads off second. Bozefield off first. Luis Arroyo into the stretch. And the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Making his second relief appearance since his return to active duty on June 25th. One ball, no strike. Arroyo delivers. Fregosi takes the strike. Curveball. It counts 1-1.
lead away from first and second. Now the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike two, 1-2 on the let-up curve. Runners lead away from first and second. The pitch to Fregosi is inside. 2-2 the count. Move the curve in closer. Runners lead away from first and second, and the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, bounced toward Boyer. Boyer over to Richardson for one, that's all. They got one man. Forced out at second. Boyer to Richardson. Getting Bozefield as Winhorn went to third. Fregosi to first. And Bilko batting for Bott. Pearson on deck. The pitch to Bilko is inside. Ball one. One ball, no strike. Ready, delivers. The big right-hand batter takes outside. Ball two, 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Winhorn on third and Fregosi on first with one out in the ninth inning. 6-2 New York. Arroyo's pitch in there. Strike one, 2-1. All set, and the pitch. It's in there, strike two, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out in the ninth. 6-2 New York. Winhorn on third, Fregosi on first. Arroyo into the stretch. And the pitch. Swung on, hit deep to right field, and the ball is going foul. Went all the way, but it's about 5 feet foul. He was looking for the screwball and hit it breaking away from him and rode it all the way. But foul by a few feet. Gordon Winhorn leads off third. Jim Fregosi off first. Steve Bilko batting for Bott. Arroyo in relief of Terry to the stretch. Here's the pitch. Swung on. There's a high fly ball in the left. Lopez moving with the wind carrying it, and he makes the catch. Winhorn tags up, comes on in to score as Fregosi retreats to first. It's 6-3. On Bilko's sacrifice fly to left field. And the batter now is Albie Pearson. Popped to short, grounded to first, fly to left, took a third strike. And Billy Moran on deck. Arroyo's pitch on the way, outside, ball one. Ball, no strike. The next pitch is in there. Strike one, 1-1. The 1-1 delivery. Swung on and fouled off. Strike 2. 1-2. Six to 3 New York, ninth inning. A 1-2 count on Albie Pearson. Jim Fregosi on first. Here's the pitch. Swung on, looped out into short right center, moving in fast as Maris makes the catch, and the game is over. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on. And the Yankees win the first game 6-3. The totals, New York 6 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. Los Angeles 3 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. The big blow of the game, of course, is the home run by Hector Lopez with 2 on off starting pitcher Don Lee, who is the losing pitcher. And Ralph Terry, with a neat assist from Louis Arroyo, gets credit for the victory. So that takes care of the first game of the doubleheader. Before we send it back to the studios, the Yankees have asked me to direct this announcement to all Yankee fans, but especially those who live out of greater New York and who don't get too many opportunities to get to the big town during the summer. You know what they say about New York in the summer? It's a summer festival. All kinds of wonderful events taking place here every week. Not the least of which is Yankee baseball in the game's most famed ballpark, Yankee Stadium, the home of champions. The Yankees play the Kansas City Athletics Monday night at 8. Tuesday afternoon at 2, and in a big holiday doubleheader on Wednesday, July 4th at 1:30. And with so many New Yorkers away for the holiday, you'll find plenty of room in New York and plenty of room here at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees, battling back into the pennant race, will have to be at their best against the surprising A's. Hank Bauer, the great ex-Yankee, leads his surprising A's into Yankee Stadium Monday night for this important 4-game series. The A's may not be leading the American League standings, but they've been front runners in the hitting department, leading the league most of the season. Colorful newcomers like Manny Jimenez, speedster Jose Tartabull, catcher Joe Askew, and pitchers Ed Rocco, Dave Wickersham, and Dan Pfister, plus such veterans as Norm Seaburn and Jerry Lumpy. The A's are overall an improved club, and if you're just thinking of how to spend the holiday weekend, those of you along our Home of Champions network who might be seeking a little change, why not a trip into New York for the 4th? And as we mentioned, with a lot of New Yorkers seeking their entertainment elsewhere, the city is wide open as far as accommodations are concerned, and you'd have a fine weekend or a fine holiday of some baseball and some summer festivalism in New York. So I hope we can see a lot of our fans along the Home of Champions network here this week or anytime when the Yankees are home. Well, that wraps up the first game, brought to you by P. Valentine and Sons and by the Atlantic Refining Company and your neighborhood Atlantic dealers. At about 5 o'clock, we'll be back with the second game, and until that time, we'll return you now to our individual Home of Champions stations. This is the Home of Champions Network.